occasion, that is the and I understand waiting their respective birthdays, and so we have all the birthday celebrants on stage with us. And today we're very blessed as well. We have bright sunlight. Perhaps for the past week or so, of course, we've had incessant rainfall and floods, and so we're very happy for the brilliant sunlight and dry weather this evening to conduct this Satsang. And so tonight, this evening rather, we join together in devotions to Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra and praying for Bhagavan's blessings to be bestowed upon not just the 3 birthday people on stage, but to all members of the family who are joined together this evening in devotion. Let us all bring to our minds that most wondrous, beauteous form of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswate Namaha, Shri Guru Charan Kamale Bhyo Namo Namaha. Om Sumukascha Ekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnaka Lambodarascha Vidhito Vighnanasho Vinayakam. Vinadhare Vipulamangaladani Shile Bhaktartinashini Viram Shri Harisha Vande. Kirti Prabhe Akhila Manorath De Mahade Vidya Pradarini Saraswati Naumi Nityam. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaram Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurudeva Namaha. Lakshmi Nagendrahara Bhashmangaraga Nityaya Shudhaya Divam Tulya Devam Jite Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Natham. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. For Chandan on the Ramayana. That's on the picture here that you see. Shri Khanda Chandanam Divyam Gandharyam Sumanoharam Bilepanam Surashrishtam Chandanam Pritigrahitam Hari Om Chandanam Samarpayami. Offer this flower on the Ramayana. Malyadini Sugandhini Malyadini Nimai Prabhu Maya Hritani Pujartham Pushpani Pritigrahitam. Spit essence there. Gandham Grahana Devasya Devadevayanidhi Gandharanam Samarpayami. offer this in front of the Havan Kunde. Sham put 2 pieces of the mango wood and light the fire. अग्निमिले पुरोहितं यज्ञस्वादेवामृतवचं होतारं रत्नधात्मम् शिरगन्देवता आवाहयामि स्थापयामि समर्पयामि सर्वतीरत्समायुक्तं सुगन्धिं निर्मलं जलमाचमन्यं मया ऋतं ग्रहाणां परमेश्वरम् Take the ghee. Let's join hands. Hari Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Swaha. Shri Kalash Devataya Namaha Swaha. Shri Suryaya Namaha Swaha. Shri Som Devataya Namaha Swaha. Shri Chandra Devataya Namaha Swaha. Shri Buddha Devataya Namaha Swaha. बृहस्पति देवताय नमः स्वाहा श्री शुक्र देवताय नमः स्वाहा श्री शनि देवताय नमः स्वाहा श्री राहु देवताय नमः स्वाहा श्री केतु देवताय नमः स्थान देवताय नमः स्वाहा श्री हनुमंताय नमः स्वाहा श्री बजरंग बलियाय नमः स्वाहा श्री मंगल मूर्तियाय नमः स्वाहा श्री मारुति नंदनाय नमः स्वाहा हरि ओम सर्वदेवी देवता भ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा वनस्पतिर्सूरभूतो गन्ध्याजो गन्धूतमम् अग्रयं सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं प्रतिगृह्यतां स्वाहा. Take the lota here and open the fire again. सर्वतीरत्समायुक्तं सुगन्धिं निर्मलं जलमाचमन्यं मया ऋतं ग्रहाणां परमेश्वरम् सममग्रयं सर्वदेवानां धूपोऽयं प्रतिगृह्यतां श्री रामचन्द्रजी भगवान् धूपोऽयं समर्पयामि. Light the diya to do arati. Yeah, we need the prasad. Good. Going to do arati. Over the Ramayana. Sajang chavarshitam yuktam vahina yojitam mayam deepam grahana devasya trailokyam timirapaham yani kani chapapani janmantra kritani sha tani tani vinashanti pradakshina prade prade prem se bole prasad. So today we're very happy to be here at this home to share this wonderful evening of devotion with you and join together with our 3 wonderful birthday celebrants on stage here. I know pre-pandemic we would have had Sham and Vashti at our temple from time to time to do the birthday Havan on a Sunday morning service. And so, I think it's the first time after the pandemic that we join together with you, with this family, in prayer and devotion to God and giving thanks to God for the bountiful blessings that He bestows, not just to survive the pandemic and to be here, but our good friend Vishnu is celebrating his 70th birthday today. And in today's world, that's quite an achievement. More and more people are leaving us at younger and younger ages. Not just through, we need tulsi leaf, Ravi. Not just through, the lifestyle diseases and so on, but especially in light of the type of violent society we have come to live in, And my dear friends, of course, you just have to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and sometimes, in many instances, innocent bystanders are losing their lives in this manner. So, in all, my dear friends, we need to be thankful for the gift of life and, of course, for the opportunity to serve God. Tulsi, live there. Right, so let us pray for the acceptance of this prasad, this offering you make to Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra. May you be pleased with this offering, O Lord. Pray for the blessings of good health, of happiness, protection against sickness and disease and dangers of our environment. Hari Om Gritapakhavan Havishanam Paya Sanchasharkarang Nana Vidanisha Nevidyam Shri Ramachandra Shri Bhagwan Nevidyam Samarpayami Tvadyam Vastu Govindam Tumeva Samarpe Grahana Samukta Bhuktava Prasira Purushotama Tochichetu Ramayana and bow. Shri Krishna Arpanam. 3 times, about 3 times. Take out the flower and offer it here. Give Sham. Sham, take some of that parasad and put into this turret to do Havan. At this point in time, Ghada ho jaye, let us all stand for Ramayana Arati. Om Sajang Chavarshitam Yuktam Vahina Yojitam Mayam Deepam Grahana Devasya Trailokyam Timarapaham. Jai बसिया रे। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो हनुमान की। राम लक्ष्मण जानकी जय बोलो। जय प्रभु मन बसिया रे। रघुपति राघव राज वीर हनुमाना अति बलवान। राम राम रसिया रे। हे राम राम रसिया रे। हे राम राम रसिया। स्वामी की जय। उमापति महा बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय। सियापति रामचंद्र की जय। आसन लीजिए, kindly be seated, devotees. And of course, whilst the devotees continue to perform arati at the Rama in here, we will continue to when it is chanted, the name of Ram and Sham. Sham, of course, is another name of Lord, difficulties and so on. We may encounter these are diminished to the blessings of Bhagavan. Koi kahi Ram, koi Sham, dhan Sham. जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। कोई कहे राम कोई श्याम घन श्याम। जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। पंछी के ये मीठे बोले नाम तेरा है। जमुना के चंचल धारा ये धाम है। पंछी के ये मीठे बोले नाम तेरा है। जमुना के चंचल धारा की पुकाया पुकारे। कोई कहे राम कोई श्याम घन श्याम। जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। अंधियारे से उजियारे का मेल मेराया। धूप होवा छाओ मेरे शाम की माया। इंसान यहाँ माया में घर में माया पुकारे। भगवान तुझको हर माथी पुकाया पुकारे। कोई कहे राम कोई श्याम घन श्याम। जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। मालिक मेरे मन में आके चूप ना जाने। भाव देखो इंसान ना माने। मालिक मेरे मन में आके चूप ना जाने। भाव देखो इंसान को ढेर ना माने। जंजाल में पड़ी है पछताया पुकारे। भगवान तुझको हर माथी पुकाया पुकारे। कोई कहे राम कोई श्याम घन श्याम। जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। कोई कहे राम कोई श्याम घन श्याम। जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। जो राधा वाले श्याम है वो सीता वाले राम। प्रेम से बोली सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय।
जय विघ्नेश्वर जय जय, जय लंबोदरी जय जय, जय गणनायक जय सुखदायक, जय जय गणेश जय जय, जय विघ्नेश्वर जय जय, जय लंबोदरी जय जय, जय गणनायक जय सुखदायक, जय जय गणेश जय जय।
रंग दे चुनरिया, रंग दे चुनरिया, रंग दे चुनरिया, रंग दे 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 चुनरिया। श्याम पिया मोरे मोरे रंग दे रंग दे चुनरिया। श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया। दे के रंग नाही छूटी रंग दे के रंग नाही 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 छूटे धोबिया धोए चाहे धोबिया धोए चाहे सारी मैया श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया। लाल नारंगाऊ हरी नारंगाऊ लाल नारंगाऊ में हरी नारंगाऊ अपने रंग में अपने रंग में रंग दे चुनरिया श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया। लाल नारंगाऊ में हरी नारंगाऊ लाल नारंगाऊ में हरी नारंगाऊ पीत नहीं चाहे पीत नहीं चाहे सारी मैया श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया रंग दे चुनरिया ओ रंग दे चुनरिया ओ रंग दे चुनरिया रंग दे चुनरिया रंग दे चुनरिया श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया श्याम पिया मोरे रंग दे चुनरिया।
Alright, so before we actually begin our katha, we have Ravi with us, and Ravi Sanina needs no introduction. Of course, he's a villager, but apart from that, of course, he is now a widely acclaimed classical singer. So we'll have two classical items from him. No, you sing classical, right? Yeah. So we'll have two classical items from him.
ध्यानमूलं गुरुर्मूर्ति पूजामूलं गुरुर्परं यं
मोक्षमूलं गुरुर्कृपा ब्रह्मा शक्ति विष्णु शक्ति शक्ति है महादेव ईश्वर महादेव गौरा पार्वती जय 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 गुरुदेव जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता जय 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 श्री रमा हरि राधिका जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता प्रथम विनो मैं श्री गणेश को दूजे सरस्वती माँ पुत्री देवा को जो यह सृष्टि चरे दीजे मैं बिना देवा जो यह सृष्टि चरे जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता पंच सागर पार जय 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 श्री जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता जल बीच मरत प्यासा धोबिया जल बीच मरत पिया हे धोबिया जल बीच मरत प्यासा जल बीच मरत पियासा जल बीच मरत पियासा जल बीच मरत पियासा धोबिया जल बीच मरत पियासा हे धोबिया जल बीच मरत पियासा सच्चा साबुन ले नहीं मूरख डाग पुराही डाग पुराना छूटत नाही छूटत नाही छूटत नाही छूटत नाही छूटत नाही धोवत धारा मासा धोवत धारा मासा धोबिया जल बिच मरत पिया हे धोबिया जल बिच मरत पियासा जल बिच मरत पियासा जल बिच मरत पियासा धोबिया जल बिच मरत पियास हे धोबिया जल बिच मरत पिया हे धोबिया
Thank you, Ravi, for those two wonderful classical selections. As we indicated, we'll be hearing from Ravi again at the end, coming to the end of the satsang when we're doing our final havan. He will do two more of those beautiful classical renditions. And you know, it is important that we remember, my dear friends, that that style of singing is unique to Trinidad. It is our own ancestors who, you know, composed and harmonized classical singing in India. So it is unique to our people, and of course, it is homegrown, and it is something that we love, and of course, we always love listening to. On Tuesday, we are celebrating Kartik Snan. Kartik Snan is really the final day in the month of Kartik. Kartik is considered, is looked upon as being the most auspicious month in the Hindu calendar. Of course, to the beach, any water course, any water collection point, to the pond, wherever you have access to and perform, especially Tuesday being the last day in the month of Kartik, it is especially recommended that we perform and Vishnu Bhagwan Pujan. This Kartik marks the time when Lord Vishnu took Matsya avatar, and he took this form of Matsya avatar, my dear friends, at that time to save this world from destruction by flooding. A tremendous flood was unleashed upon this world, and Lord Vishnu took the form of a fish, ordinary fish. That fish, a very tiny fish, appeared in the kamandal of a too big. He dug a pond for the fish to be contained, extraordinarily large, until it had to be placed into the ocean. And this, Rajamanura, very soon this world would be submerged in flood. By washing over, at that point in time, of course, her heavenly abode was not here. Her abode was not here on this earthly planet, but it was in the heavenly regions. And upon the petitions, the prayers of Raja Bhagirat, she came to this earthly planet, landed into Lord Shiva, who was the only entity strong enough, powerful enough to cushion the impact of a descent from the heavenly regions, my dear friends. And this way she flowed down into many tributaries, but of course one followed Bhagirat to Patalok, where he washed over the ashes of the sons of Raja Sagar. And my dear friends, in this way they were redeemed of their sins. And so, on account of that, this month of Kartik, and as we say, the final day being the most auspicious day, it's recommended that when we perform the Ganga Puja, we perform the Bhagavan Vishnu Puja, it is full moon day, so the puja that is performed on full moon day is Satnarayan Swami Puja, which is the same Vishnu Bhagavan, called by a different name. Then of course we too can absolve ourselves, my dear friends, of all wrongdoing and sinfulness that we may accumulate in our lives from time to time. And so we join together in this bhajan, glorifying Ganga Mata, before we actually get into our katha tonight. Jai Ma Ganga Ma, जय माँ गंगा माँ। गंगा जी के लय times when India was under the British rule, when England, Great Britain ruled over England. You know, at that time, most of the journeys to and fro from England in barrels, fresh drinking water. But you know, water, my dear friends, when left stand still for very long, becomes stale and rancid. You know, even this bottled water that you drink, if you notice carefully, there's an expiry date on the bottled water. For although it has gone through various stages of purification and so on, still it expires. And after that date, it is no longer good for drinking. So the sailors would leave England with water from England stored in their barrels and so on. And they discovered that sometimes halfway through the trip, before they got to their destination in India, the water would become rancid because of the length of time it took to sail from England to India. And of course, you know, they had to make do with whatever they had on board the ship. And when they got to their destination and they conducted their business and they loaded up their ships with silk and whatever they went to fetch in India, sugar and so on, these were the items that was produced in India and of course brought back to Great Britain. Once again, they would stock fresh drinking water and they would take the water from the Ganga, the Ganges River, you know, fill it in their barrels and containers and so on, and would depart India now, sailing back to England. But it was noticed, unlike the water that they took from England, my dear friends, the water that was taken out of the Ganges River remained fresh for drinking during the course of that return trip. And for the duration of the trip, my dear friends, it did not turn stale and rancid and smelly and so on as the water that they had taken from England. What's the source? To understand this, you have to understand the source of the Ganga. The source of the Ganga, my dear friends, flows from the Jata of Lord Shiva. Remember we indicated earlier, when Ganga Mata landed from a heavenly abode, she landed into the Jata of Lord Shiva. Do you know Kailash Parvat is the only mountain, right there, you know, the Himalayan mountains are surrounded higher than Kailash itself. But Kailash is the only mountain that has not been climbed. Although it's lower than the top of the Himalayan, which is called Mount Everest, you know, yet Kailash has not been climbed. It's the abode of Lord Shiva. Kailash is the only mountain in the world that has four faces that correspond exactly with the four cardinal directions. And if you go into the science of that, you would know, my dear friends, of the magnetic waves and so on that flows from the four cardinal directions, and how, of course, that corresponds with the four faces of Kailash. Just of that time, when Ganga Mata descended from her heavenly abode and entered into the Jata of Lord Shiva, she still flows from the Jata of Lord Shiva. Today, if you try to find bhajan that we sing, Jai Ma Ganga, the source of Ganga, you will simply find a rock-solid glacier, my dear friends. Of course, our eyes are not capable, not qualified of seeing and beholding the Divine Lord, Shankar Bhagwan. But all you will see is that Ganga emanating from a rock-solid glacier. You know, this is the source of Ganga that flows down into India and Bangladesh and surrounding countries, provides drinking water for millions and millions of people. Jai Ma Ganga Ma, Jai Ma Ganga Ma, lehron pe jiyara bahe, Ganga ji ke lehron pe jiyara bahe, jiyara bahe o naiya, jiyara bahe, goriya ke kamar suhag rahe. Jai Ma Ganga Ma, Jai Ma Ganga Ma. बहती बहती जियारा जयो परदेश, पिया जी से कहियो मोरा इतना संदेश। बहती बहती जियारा जयो परदेश, पिया जी से कहियो मोरा इतना संदेश। लुटे जरे जियारे तो जियारा बहे, गंगा जी के लहरों पे जियारा बहे। जय माँ गंगा माँ, जय माँ गंगा माँ। कोई मांगे धन सुख, कोई मांगे ज्ञान, नारी मांगे बड़े प्यारे मांगे संतान। कोई मांगन सुख, कोई मांगे ज्ञान, नारी मांगे बड़े प्यारे मांगे संतान। पूर्ण सभी के मन कामना करे। गंगा गंगा माँ, जय माँ गंगा माँ। पियरी चढ़ावे कोई भागवंती, सिंदूर चढ़ावे कोई लाजवंती। पियरी चढ़ावे कोई भागवंती, सिंदूर चढ़ावे कोई लाजवंती। उमड़ी दया की ज्योति जलती रहे, गंगा जी के लहरों पे जियारा बहे। जय माँ गंगा माँ, जय माँ गंगा माँ। गंगा जी के लहरों पे जियारा बहे, जियारा बहे ओ मैया जियारा बहे। गोरिया के अमर सुहाग रहे। जय माँ गंगा माँ, जय माँ गंगा माँ, जय माँ गंगा माँ। So this is the wonderful occasion, my dear friends, we observe on Tuesday, the occasion of Kartik Snan. It's a wonderful time to perform your Ganga Mata Pujan, Vishnu Bhagwan Pujan. And of course, as we indicated, at the time that Raja Bhagirat had prayed to Ganga Mata, and he was told by the Guru when he inquired about his ancestors, the terrible fate that they had suffered, a terrible fate, but on account of their terrible actions. See, very often, my dear friends, terrible circumstances befall us. But when terrible circumstances come to us, we sometimes bring it upon ourselves through our own karma, our own actions. And this is precisely what had happened to the sons of Raja Sagar and their own downfall. As Lord Krishna says in the period of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we lift ourselves by ourselves and also we lower ourselves by ourselves. Sometimes we blame others, but really it is us, my dear friends, the individual who is bringing about our own self-destruction, as it were, when we embark and insist upon, destructive. We do not do that introspection and self-analysis to discover our shortcomings and wrongdoings, but rather we look outwards and blame others. When tragedy befalls us, we blame family, friends. That may be so, but my dear friends, to a large extent, we can avoid, is disappearing in our society today and amongst our people today. I prayed to Lord Shiva to receive Ganga Mata. Shiva, 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 Shambhu. And of course he, Lord Shiva, had acceded to the request of Raja Bhagirat. Recognizing the need, the importance, the critical importance of Ganga Mata, to the people of this world, not just to save the lives of Raja Sagar and the sons of Raja Sagar, but to the entire creation, ही फसलीव शिव शंभो। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ रे, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ रे, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ रे, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। डमरू को सुनकर जी कान्हा भी आए, कान्हा भी आए संग राधा भी आए। मगन हो गया सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ रे, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। डमरू को सुनकर गणपत चले, गणपत चले, गणपत चले संग कार्तिक चले। वह अम्बे गंधी मगन हो गया, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ रे, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। डमरू को सुनकर रामा भी आए, रामा भी आए संग लक्ष्मण जी आए। डमरू को सुनकर रामा भी आए, रामा भी आए संग लक्ष्मण भी आए। मैया सीता का मन भी मगन हो गया, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ रे, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। डमरू को सुनकर गंगा चले, गंगा चले वहाँ यमुना चले। डमरू को सुनकर गंगा चले, यमुना चले वहाँ सरयू के मन भी मगन हो गया। सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ की, सारा कैलाश पर्वत। डमरू को सुनकर ब्रह्मा चले, ब्रह्मा चले संग विष्णु चले। डमरू को सुनकर ब्रह्मा चले, ब्रह्मा चले संग विष्णु चले। मैया लक्ष्मी की मंगी महन हो गया, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ रे, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। ऐसा डमरू बजाया भोलेनाथ रे, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया, सारा कैलाश पर्वत मगन हो गया। Shrumapati Mahadev ki jai. So we just wanted to give a little insight into the celebration of Kartik, my dear friends, that is coming up on Tuesday. And so, we're reading tonight from Uttarkand of Ramcharitmanas. Let us continue to immerse our thoughts upon that most wondrous, beauteous form of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra as we chant these Chaupai now from the pages of Ramcharitmanas. तब तब अवधापुरी मैं जाऊं सीताराम दिलों की जन्म महोत्सव देखूं जाई साराम वर्ष 5 कह रहा हूँ भाई राम राजा राम निज प्रभु बरन भजले राजा राम भजले सीता. And Kakbhushunji is narrating to Garuji the experience he has at the time of Ram avatar, when Lord Vishnu takes avatar or form, that form of Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bhajata adhyotanam dharmasya taratmanam shrijamyaham. Whenever there is a decline in righteousness and a rise in unrighteousness and sinfulness, that one Supreme Lord, Vishnu Bhagwan, takes this manifestation of Ram, Krishna, and so on, my dear friends, the many avatars that he has taken to destroy wickedness and sinfulness, and of course to restore so many forms of God. Other religions just depict God in one form. And perhaps to answer this is the ages of the various religions of this world. Some go back just a little more than 2,000 years. Some may go back to about 3,500 years. But how old is this world? Is this world just 2,000 years old? Is it just 3,500 years old? Today, science tells us this world is millions of years old. Archaeologists would dig up fossils from time to time. Through scientific methods, they would tell you this fossil is 60 million years old. Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, is documented and recorded as the oldest known religion to man. Not just going back 2,000 years or 3,500 years, my dear friends, but for the millions of years that this world has been in existence, that one Supreme Lord, Vishnu Bhagavan, has taken these many forms over the passage of time. This is why so many forms. You go to any mandir or to any Hindu home and you see dozens of murtis and pictures depicting the various forms that that Supreme Master has taken over the vast expanse of time that this world has been in existence. So listen to the statement that Kakbhushunji makes to Garuji. He says to him, O Garud, whenever Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra takes that manifestation, whenever Lord Vishnu takes this manifestation of Sri Ram, I go to Ayodhya, O Garuji, to behold Ram Leela. Now, just before Diwali, you would have seen Ram Leela at Palmis pastures and various other grounds around the country. Ram Leela, of course, is the enactment of the original Leela, or the original drama, my dear friends, the divine charitra of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra. So Kakbhushunji is saying, and you must understand the statement very carefully, whenever Lord Vishnu takes a Ram avatar, and that statement implies that he has taken a Ram avatar more than once. My dear friends, we have 4 yugas: Satyuga, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. Now listen to the duration of the 4 yugas, and you would see how it matches, my dear friends, the scientific data or the scientific dating of this world. Satyuga is around 16 million years. It is in excess of 16 million years in duration. That's the first yuga. Treta is in excess of 12 million years. Dwapar is around 8 million years. And this present yuga, Kali Yuga, is around 4 million years. So my dear friends, if you add up the span, the duration of the 4 yugas, you would see we get in excess of 40 million years, my dear friends, and this is just one kalp or one cycle. When you put the 4 together, it is one kalp or one cycle. And it is during the expanse of this duration of the kalpa that the avatar of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra and Lord Krishna and Lord Ganesh and so on would be enacted. So he says, whenever this avatar takes place, O Guruji, I will go to Ayodhya to behold the divine charitra of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra. We have something in common with Bhagavan as well. Lord Krishna says, as does Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra, that this is not the first time we are here now, but we too were here in a previous form, and our time too would expire, and we would re-enter into this avagaman, the cycle of birth and death, and be here once more. He says to Arjuna, O Arjuna, there will never come a time when you would not be here. We enter into this world, my dear friends, based upon our karma. Favorable or unfavorable. When it is favorable karma, favorable circumstances exist, my dear friends, when we enter into this world and during our lifetime in this world. And when there is bad karma, unfavorable circumstances exist. Let me give you an example. Babies are being born into this world every single day. One baby would be born into a loving and caring family. Mother and father would love and care and provide and nurture for that child throughout its lifetime. Another baby is born and the mother abandons the baby on the side of the road or by the hospital steps, as it happened recently. What did the little 1 day old baby do to deserve being discarded when it's most vulnerable? As we live our lives, we say, well, we accumulate a certain amount of bad karma, you know. So as we say, we look for what we get. But what did the 1 day old baby do? Obviously, that baby has brought with him into this world a certain baggage. And that is the baggage of karma, my dear friends, that we accumulate from the Purva Janam, from the previous birth, that begins to affect us from day one, from the first minute that we are born into this world. But who gives the baggage of karma to us, my dear friends? We. Every single day, my dear friends, we packing that baggage. Every single day we do actions. We perform karma. Every day we help somebody, we put in good baggage, good karma into that baggage. Every day we give something to someone, we're helping ourselves too. And every day we hurt someone, we steal from someone, my dear friends, we're packing that baggage of bad karma as well, which would ultimately affect us, my dear friends, here whilst we're alive, as well as when we have to re-enter this world. So it's like you're traveling abroad, you're going to New York, you're going to Toronto, wherever you're going, the baggage in your hand, the suitcase, the officer, the customs or immigration may ask you, did you pack this bag yourself? That's a very important question. Because if it is determined that anything illegal is in the bag, whether you pack it or did not pack it yourself, you are liable and responsible for that baggage. It's in your name. Similarly, my dear friends, we pack that baggage of karma. Every single day we're packing that baggage, that karmic baggage. And of course, when we live that good life, that life of decency and honesty and so on, we are ensuring, my dear friends, that our journey ahead would be good, guided by the hands of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra himself. He manvare manva जीवन है संग्राम. O devotee, amidst the battles and challenges of life, turn away from the distractions of this world and instead surrender to the lotus-like feet of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra. Whilst those around you may desert you, may disappoint you, may deceive you, that Lord, that all merciful Lord Sri Ram would be there to support you, to assist you in overcoming those trials and those challenges that we inadvertently encounter in our life's journey onwards. हे मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम, ओ भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम। हे मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम, हे मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम। तो भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम। हे मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम, हे मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम। लोक यही पर लोक यही है, यही धरा और व्योम, यही धरा और व्योम, यही पुरातन नारायण है, यही सनातन ओम, यही सनातन ओम। इससे भरा नहीं कोई काम, इससे भरा नहीं कोई काम। भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम। मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम, मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम। इसके करतब अजब अनोखे, गजब है इसके खेल, गजब है इसके खेल। यही पुरातन नारायण हो, नारायण बिन तेल, नारायण बिन तेल। यही सवारे सारे काम, यही सवारे सारे काम। भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम, भजले राम राम राम। मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम, मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम, मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम। प्रेम से बोलिए सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय। And so he continues to describe to him the delightful time he spends in the company of Sri Ram, in what is described as Bal Leela, or the childhood glories of Sri Ram. And Tulsidas, it describes for us from the time of birth, my dear friends, to the time of ascension. That is to say, Ram Avatar, at the end of a Ram Avatar, Bhagavan did not die as we would perish at the end of our lifetime. From the time of birth to the time of ascension, for when Ram Avatar came to an end, Sri Ram entered into the Sarayu river. And Tulsidas, he describes a brilliant light, just as the lightning would flash, my dear friends, in an instant it would disappear. This is precisely what the people witnessed at the time of Sri Ram's ascension or return. So he did not become old. The avatar of God does not suffer, my dear friends, the normal processes of sickness and old age and disease and so on, as humans are prone to. So at the time of his ascension, he simply entered into the waters of the Sarayu, and that brilliant light was seen, my dear friends, and disappeared towards Akash, towards the heavenly regions. So he describes every stage of his life, and in this Katha tonight, he describes one instant, which is a miracle that Sri Ram revealed to Kakbhushunji. And so Sri Ram is a little boy, a young child at this time, and as little boys like to do, Sri Ram requested of his father a kite. He wanted to fly a kite, and so the king Raja Dasharath found a beautiful kite for his son. And on a very windy day, my dear friends, Sri Ram, standing in the angan or the courtyard of his father Raja Dasharath, he's flying the kite, and Kakbhushunji, taking the form of a bird, comes, nearby, and is beholding this divine miracle, of Sri Ramchandra flying this kite. But this, my dear friends, turned out to be quite an adventure for Kakbhushunji. For to the amazement of Kakbhushunji, the kite flew higher and higher. As you would see, the kite would start off at a certain height and continue to climb higher and higher. But this kite, my dear friends, went past the treetops and began to enter into the clouds. So it was an ordinary kite. A normal ball of thread that Sri Ram was holding in his hand. He did not extend it. But my dear friends, of course, the divine Lord is not confined and by measure as we are confined. If we, hold one ball of twine, the kite can only go so far. That divine Lord is omniscient. He's all-powerful. And so, my dear friends, the kite continues to climb higher and higher. It disappears over the palace roof, passes over the treetops, and now begins to get into the clouds. And Kakbhushunji is saying to Garuji, I wanted to know, hey Garud, how far really would this kite travel? And so, as we say, Kakbhushunji has taken the form of a bird. And so, he now begins to fly, my dear friends. As the kite is ascending higher and higher, he too flies over the palace roof, over the treetops. And now, my dear friends, he too, exhausted, he admits to Garuji, he continues to follow the kite as it now enters into the clouds. And so he says, the kite now pierces the clouds, hey Garud, and disappears from sight. And by this time, I too, even though I am now entering into the clouds, I feel very fatigued, I'm drained of all energy. And I know, oh Garuji, I'm going to fall. From that height, I would have certainly died. But as I looked around, hey Garud, I saw the childlike hands of Sri Ram waiting to catch me as I fell from that tremendous height. Bhagwan is still standing, mind you, in the palace, the courtyard of his father's palace in Ayodhya. But he knows that this devotee always comes to him to, behold this divine glory and this divine miracle. And my devotees, Bhagwan is always, just as he was waiting there for that moment when Kakbhushunji would falter, when he would be unable to propel himself or to carry himself forward in that quest, in that journey that he had embarked upon. Just as he was waiting to catch Kakbhushunji and cushion his fall, I want to tell you similarly, Bhagwan looks upon us as well. And he is always ready, he is always willing, my dear friends, to support us, to give his support to us. Sometimes we too may falter in life. We too may stumble and fall. People have so many challenges in today's world. So many people are battling sickness and disease and, loss of job and loss of income and the scourge of violence and so on. So many people express a feeling of utter hopelessness and helplessness and frustration and so on. But my dear friends, if you're in need, if you need a bottle of water to drink and you're unable to get to it, and you call out to someone, can you get me this water, please? Someone may respond to you. But if you sit quietly and you wonder, I wonder how I'm going to quench my thirst without saying anything, then you would remain wondering, isn't it? You must call out for help. And this is precisely where we fail, my dear devotees. Sometimes we're affected by so many issues, and we remain pondering, within ourselves, how am I going to get out of this? And we become more frustrated. Some people look to take out their frustration at the bar with the alcohol and remain even more frustrated after. Because you can't drown your frustration, obviously, in alcohol. It simply multiplies the frustration, my dear friends, when you become sober. Where we need to turn to, sometimes we turn last. Where we should be turning to God in the first place, we sometimes turn to God in the last place. As a last resort. It may sound a little bit jokey or funny, comical, but sometimes people actually say that. They say, Baba, look, I've gone all about, I look for help all about, and as a last resort, I come by you. When it should be the first place we go, my dear friends. The guidance of the Guru, the guidance of the Pandit, whatever issues are affecting us, instead of searching for help everywhere else and then turning to God, we turn to God first, as a first resort. And so this miracle that Sri Ram reveals to Kak Bhushunji, my dear friends, in this childlike form, seeing his devotee, trying to measure, how far this kite would go. This is no ordinary kite. Kak Bhushunji is saying to Guruji, I wanted to find out, what was the secret? What caused this kite to fly so high? And so, being unable to fly any further, I began to fall. And as I turned around, Hey Garud, there I saw the childlike hands of Sri Ram waiting to catch me. And I landed in his safe and secure embrace. Hey Garud, and before I knew it, I was back on the ground in the palace of Ayodhya, being cradled in the hands of my divine Lord, Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra. Prem se boliye Sitapati Ramchandra ki jai. So whoever we are and whatever age we have attained, our good friend Vishnu ji is celebrating 70 today. Vashi told me she is now a retiree. Official or unofficial? Official, so she has, or will be celebrating. Already celebrated at the 60th birthday and the 4th, and Sham has celebrated his already 48, right? So whatever age we're at, my dear friends, we turn to Bhagwan, whether we are a young child, an elderly person, we turn to Bhagwan. He's always ready and willing to accept us, to safeguard us, to protect us from all dangers and difficulties. मैं एक नन्हा सा, मैं एक छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ. The bhajan says, तुम हो बड़े बलवान, प्रभु जी मेरी लाज रखो. I am a child, O Lord, and you are Jagat Pita, you are universal Father, powerful, all-powerful and potent. You are my champion and defender and savior. मैंने सुनाई तुमने यहाँ पे लाखों से दुख टाले. I've heard, O Lord, that you have dispelled the agonies and troubles of millions, and so I now surrender unto you, and I ask, I beseech, O Lord, that you also remove my troubles and difficulties. तुम हो बड़े बलवान, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो. मैं एक नन्हा सा, मैं एक छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ.
तुम हो बड़े बलवान, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो। मैं एक नन्हा सा, मैं एक छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ, तुम हो बड़े बलवान, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो। मैंने सुनाए तुमने यहाँ पे लाखों से दुख टाले, मेरा दुख भी टालो सजन की चक्र सुदर्शन वाले। मैंने सुनाए तुमने यहाँ पे लाखों से दुख टाले, मेरा दुख भी टालो सजन की चक्र सुदर्शन वाले। मैं एक नन्हा सा, मैं एक छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ, मुझ पे धरो कुछ ध्यान, प्रभु जी मेरी लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो। तुमको दयालु अपना समझ के मैंने आज पुकारा, मुझे निर्बल से हाथ पकड़ लो, दे नाथ सहारा। तुमको दयालु अपना समझ के मैंने आज पुकारा, मुझे निर्बल से हाथ पकड़ लो, दे नाथ सहारा। मैं एक नन्हा सा, मैं एक छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ, मैं भी तुम्हारी संतान, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो। आज तुम्हारे द्वार पे आश लगाए, ऐसा कोई जतन करो प्रभु सांच को आज नहाए। मैं आया हूँ आज तुम्हारे द्वार पे आश लगाए, ऐसा कोई जतन करो प्रभु सांच को आज न आए। मैं एक नन्हा सा, मैं एक छोटा सा बच्चा हूँ, बिगड़ी बना रो भगवान, प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो, 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 प्रभु जी मेरे लाज रखो। प्रेम से बोले सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय। So we'll stop our katha at this stage and we will go on to the final havan, and we'll invite Ravi back to the stage. He will do 2 more bhajans. So Ravi will do 2 more bhajans whilst we are performing the havan. So Shrotas, you will come back to the stage. Sham, can light up the fire there.
10 मास रहे जब गर्भई में, तब ही प्रभु से तुम कौन किया। मैं बाहर हूँ हरि भक्ति करो, तेहि कारण लोक भय दुखिया। इस आई जगत में भूल गयो, तेहि कारण लोक भय दुखिया। कभी दिहल है मन चेतन करो, भजु राम सिया तुम जन मलिया। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला दी रहे। सिया राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला दी रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला दी रहे। भव के पंथ चली, भव के पंथ चली, अंदेश वाला की रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला की रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला की रहे। पाप निशी में जीवन निंदिया, पाप निशी में जीवन निंदिया। भजन की घोर भई, भजन की घोर भई, अंदेश वाला की रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला की रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला की रहे। जागृत स्वप्न सुषुप्त तुरैया, जागृत स्वप्न सुषुप्त तुरैया। जीतो तब राम मिले, जीतो तब राम मिले, अंदेश वाला की रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला की रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला की रहे। वेद पुराण ग्रंथ बहु व्यंजन, वेद पुराण ग्रंथ बहु व्यंजन। पाकर बंज बलि, पाकर बंज बलि, अंदेश वाला की रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, अंदेश वाला की रहे। हरि हो राम मिलन कब होय, संदेश वाला की रहे। सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते, नारायणी नमस्तुते। धन जग जननी भवानी, धन जग जननी भवानी, धन जग जननी भवानी, धन जग जननी भवानी, जननी भवानी उमाई अचल वरदानी, धन जग जननी भवानी, धन जग जननी भवानी, माई भवानी दुर्गा भवानी हुमाई अचल वरदानी, धन जग जननी जगमग 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 ज्योति विराजे, ज्योति विराजे, ज्योति विराजे। जगमग जगमग ज्योति विराजे, ज्योति विराजे, ज्योति विराजे। तेज प्रताप निधानी, तेज प्रताप निधानी, माई निधानी दुर्गा भवानी हो माई अचल वरदानी, धन जग जननी भवानी, धन जग जननी भवानी, माई भवानी हो माई अचल वरदानी, धन जग जननी भवानी। दुख का हरनी, दुख का हरनी, दुख का हरनी, सुख संपत्ति भरनी, संपत्ति भरनी, संपत्ति भरनी। दुख हरनी, सुख संपत्ति भरनी, संपत्ति भरनी, संपत्ति अपार तुम्हारो शेष सुरेश जानी महिमा राम महिमा राम महिमा अपार तुम्हारो पार तुम्हारो अपार तुम्हारो महिमा अपार तुम्हारो पार तुम्हारो अपार तुम्हारो शेष सुरेश जानी शेष सुरेश जानी माई जानी हो माई अचल बर जानी धन जग जननी भवानी धन जग जननी भवानी माई भवानी हो माई अचल बर जानी धन जग जननी भवानी धन जग जननी भवानी धन जग जननी भवानी धन जग जननी भवानी दुर्गा भवानी माई भवानी हो माई अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी भवानी।
Thank you again, Ravi, for those two wonderful classical selection. So we have the birthday cake on the table. So we'll ask the birthday people to go across to the birthday cake, and we're going to dedicate a birthday song to the birthday celebrants. So who is conducting this part? You'll guide them along to the cake and of course to the cutting of the cake as we dedicate this birthday song to three of you who are celebrating your respective Janam Din. बार बार दिन ये आए, बार बार दिन ये गाए, बार बार दिन ये आए, तुझे हजारों साल ये मेरी है आरज़ू। Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to Vishnu, happy birthday to you. बेकरार हो के दामन थाम लूं मैं किसका, बेकरार हो के दामन थाम लूं मैं किसका, क्या मिसाल दूं मैं तेरी नाम लूं मैं किसका। नहीं नहीं ऐसा हंसी कोई नहीं है जिस पे ये नजर रुक जाए, बेमिसाल जो कहलाए, तुझे हजारों साल ये मेरी है आरज़ू। Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to Rashti, happy birthday to you. बेकरार हो के दामन थाम लूं मैं किसका, काश मैं भी तो फले के आता, मैं तेरी हंसी महफिल में फूलों लेके आता। जिन्हें कहा उसे चाहे फूलों की जरूरत, जो पहाड़ खुद कहलाए, हर कली का दिल धड़काए। तुझे हजारों साल ये मेरी है आरज़ू। हैप्पी बर्थडे टू शाम, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू। बार बार दिन ये आए आरज़ू। हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू विष्णु, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू वाशी, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू शाम, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू। Give them a round of applause, my dear friends, for they celebrate their respective birthdays. All right, so leave some of the cake for later and some of the pictures for later as we return to the stage for the final arati. अच्छा, खड़ा हो जाए. Let us all stand for Ramayana Arati. आरती श्री रामायण जी की, कीरति कलि कल लिखसिया की। गावत ब्रह्मा दिक मुनि नारद, वाल्मीक विज्ञान विशागर, सुख सन पारादि शेष और सागर, वरनी पवन सुत कीरति की। वेरा पुराण अष्टदश, शवधान संकन को सर्वस, साध अंश सम्मत सब नीति। संतत गावत शंभु भवानी, अर्घत शंभव मुनि विज्ञानी, व्यास आदि कवि तुंग बखानी, ताप भूसुंदर सती की सुभग सिंगार मूर्ति युवती की हर रोक सब दीदी तुलसी की अयोध्या वासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम अयोध्या वासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन राम जय जय राम 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 बोलो राम 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 सीता राम 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 बोलो राम 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 बोल अयोध्या वासी राम 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 दशरथ नंदन राम पतित पावन जानकी जीवन सीता मोहन राम जय जय राम 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 बोलो राम 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 जय जय राम 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 सीता राम 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 जय जय राम राम राम. This brings us to an end of our devotions here tonight. We pray for the blessings of Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra to be bestowed upon members of this family, for the hosting of this one night Ramayana Satsang, and indeed all who have come together and been part of tonight's devotion. May that most benevolent Lord Bhagavan Sri Ramchandra bestow his blessings upon each and every devotee. May your Lord continue to safeguard us and protect us against all dangers and difficulties. Shrotas, take flowers in your hands for the closing prayer. Mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam janadhanam yat pujitam maya devam paripurnam tadastu me. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha saha tvameva vidyadravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोलिए श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, उड़ैसा जगन्नाथ की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय. जय सीताराम. Ask नीचे. Kindly be seated, devotees. So receive your arati and your prasad, and of course bhojan has been provided for you. Please partake of these before departing to respective abodes. Yeah.